Just letting you know, as you already know, the Hunter Biden laptop emails is real. But fake news media is trying to spin it the other way. This is what NBC said 18 hours ago yesterday. How a fake persona laid the groundwork for Hunter Biden conspiracy deluge. Just like they try to say QAnon is a conspiracy. A 64-page document that was later disseminated by a close associate of President Donald Trump appears to be the work of a fake intelligence firm. Now, let's read into this a little bit. 1 month before a purported leak of files from Hunter Biden's laptop, a fake intelligence document about him went viral on the right-wing internet, asserting an elaborate conspiracy theory involving former Vice President Joe Biden's son and business in China. The document's a 64-page composition that was later disseminated by close associates of President Donald J. Trump appears to be work of a fake intelligence firm called Typhoon Investigations, according to the research and public documents. Now, where is your resource for this? Oh, that's right, you have no resource, because this is fake news. You put your best writers to write the fakest story. This is Pulp Fiction, guys. This is fantasy. Right here, this is fantasy. They're trying to say, look, the author of the document, self-identified Swiss security analysis named Mark Aspen, is a fabricated identity according to analysis by disinformation researchers who also concluded that Aspen's profile picture was created with the artificial intelligence-based generator. The intelligence firm, the Aspen list, as previous employers said that no one by that name have ever worked for that company and that no one by that name lives in Switzerland, according to public records and social media searches. Public records and social media searches. Mark Aspen, a fake computer-generated AI. There is some truth into this because AI does exist and computer-generated people do exist. Just like, for example, I'm going to show you something. Just like NBC said, AI computer-generated.
Another would be to separate good actors from
AI computer generated. Look at the bottom of the screen.
Can't hide behind Section 230.
AI computer generated. Mark Zuckerberg.
Facilitating illegal activity.
That's your example. That's example 1. As President Trump tweeted, Biden crime family. See it right there in his tweet. Biden crime family 6 hours ago.
We've just learned through explosive documents published by a very fine newspaper, the New York Post, that Joe Biden has been blatantly lying about his involvement in his son's corrupt business dealing. And this is a big smoking gun. The newly uncovered emails reveal that a top executive from the highly questionable Ukrainian company, it's an energy company, which paid Hunter at least $50,000 a month, but it's now looking like it could be $183,000 a month. That's a lot of money. Would anybody in this audience take it? I'll take it. We'll take it. Despite the fact that he had absolutely no experience, knew nothing about energy, wrote to Hunter arranging for a meeting to meet with Vice President Joe Biden. I've been saying this for a long time with that family. The same Ukrainian energy executive even sent Hunter an email saying, quote, "We urgently need your advice on how you could use your influence." In other words, Hunter was being paid for access to his vice president father, who was specifically put in charge of Ukraine and Russia. How about the Russia hoax? It turned out that they were the ones that did the Russia hoax. It was them. No collusion. No collusion. These emails show that Biden's repeated claim that he has never spoken to Hunter about his business dealings were a complete lie. It was a total lie. He lied to you over and over because he's trying to cover up a massive pay-for-play scandal at the heart of his vice presidency, and everybody knows it. Everybody in Washington knows it. We've known it for a long time. The fact is, there was never an administration more corrupt than the Obama-Biden administration. There was never. Problems in fracking, I think. You know what it's called? You know what it's called? The laptop from hell. The laptop from hell.
And earlier in an email, NBC is claiming this is a fake conspiracy story. The Hunter Biden emails, the laptop from hell, as Trump called it in October. Trump called it the laptop from hell. Then he called it a smoking gun on October 14th. This is what Twitter and Facebook and other social media networks banned off their social media programs. This is why the court date happened with Facebook, Twitter, and Google. New York Post. Email reveals how Hunter Biden introduced Ukrainian business. Now, I'm not going to click on an article. I'm just showing you the screenshot of it.
Going to delve into one of the Chinese transactions so that you can get an idea of the incriminating documents that are in this hard drive. And then I'm going to make these documents available, the most pertinent ones, on my website so you can look at them. And you'll also be able to look at them as we go through this. Remember, just to put it in context, during the time that Joe Biden was the vice president of the United States, we now have located 5 transactions with foreign countries, which he claims he knew nothing about, which has been disproven by the text messages and emails showing his meeting with a high official of Burisma, which he lied about, and also has been disproven by the sworn testimony of Mr. Bobulinski, who is a partner in the transaction we're about to describe, and also several other emails and texts that show that he had a good deal of familiarity with his son's foreign dealings. But he had more than familiarity with it. He was getting paid part of the money that his son was getting, and that's what we're going to show you here. But let's just remind you of the context of this. Joe was named the point man in Iraq. His brother James got 1/3 of a $1.5 billion housing contract at exactly that same time and made a substantial amount of money on that. And that money was given in part to the vice president and in part was used by James to pay for expenses for the vice president and his wife, Jill. Ukraine was mainly a transaction involving Hunter Biden as the bag man. Hunter was hired for a no-show job and got paid upwards of about $14 million altogether. And that was as a bribe to Joe in order to have the case dropped on the crooked company Burisma for Mykola Zlochevsky, a member of Ukrainian organized crime, a fugitive at the time, and a man who had stolen $5 billion from Ukraine, which was all forgiven when Joe had the prosecutor fired and the president of the country ordered that the case be dismissed. Joe, again, received half of that money, at least, from Hunter. And by the way, the president of Ukraine received a bribe of between $50 and $100 million. That was Poroshenko, Joe's good friend.
On record, I am providing the facts.
You're just going to just bury all of this, man.
As I referenced earlier, I'm only sitting here because they have not only have they not gone on record, they've denied it, and they've tarred my family name and a long history of serving this country, and have other congressmen now talking about Russian disinformation.
This whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin.
I held a top secret clearance from the NSA and the DOE. I served this country for 4 years in one of the most elite environments in the world, Naval Nuclear Power Training Command. And to have a congressman out there speaking about Russian disinformation, or Joe Biden at a public debate referencing Russian disinformation, when he knows he sat face to face with me, that I was traveled around the world with his son and his brother, to say that and associate that with my name is absolutely disgusting to me.
Did you complain about that? I mean, did it suggest that you were committing treason or a part of a foreign attack on our democracy, which is how they characterized it? I mean, that's such a serious and I think unfair charge. Did you bring this up with them?
Well, in basic form, you're exactly right. They are publicly accusing me of treason right now, treating me like I'm insignificant, or the 50 years of history that my family served this country is insignificant. And that's why I'm sitting here having this. I assure you, this is the absolute last place I want to be right now, and the last thing I want to be doing right now. But I feel like I have a patriotic duty to this country and every American citizen to go on record and to find the facts for them and let them do their own work. Let them decide how they view those facts or not. But for the Biden family to deny these facts, and then not only deny them, they could have just said no comment. But they didn't say no comment. They then brought in Russian disinformation and basically associated my name with that, which is absolutely disgusting to me. And I had to go on the record. Last weekend, I was in Virginia. Sadly, my sister-in-law passed away at around, I think, 6:38 Saturday morning. That's the wife of my brother, who spent 28 years serving this country as a naval flight officer and just retired. So you can imagine me dealing with that and the tragedy of that. When I saw Adam Schiff go on record talking about Russian disinformation after this email had been posted online by the New York Post, and remember, that email was to me from James Gilliar, right? It wasn't, I wasn't blind carboned or CC'd on that. It was to me stating that I was going to be the CEO of this enterprise. I was at the end of my rope. And so I called Rob Walker and I told him that if that statement isn't retracted by Congressman Schiff by midnight on Sunday, that I was going on record and I was disclosing all the facts to the American government, to the American citizen, and the world. I was hoping the Bidens would do the right thing, or Schiff would retract his statement, but I could not allow another minute, another hour, or a day for my family's name to be associated or muddied up around Russian disinformation. So even
that the New York Times is calling, but my old partner Eric, who literally has done me harm for I don't know how long, is the one taking the calls because my father will not stop sending calls to Eric. I have another New York Times reporter calling about my representation of literally, Dr. Patrick Ho, the fucking spy chief of China, who started the company that my partner, who was worth $323 billion, founded, and is now missing. The richest man in the world is missing. He was my partner. He was missing since I last saw him in his $58 million apartment and signed a $4 billion deal to build the fucking largest fucking LNG port in the world. And I am receiving calls from the Senator of New York, from the U.S. Attorney himself. My best friend in business, Devin, has named me as a witness without telling me in a criminal case, and my father without telling me.
Behind the scenes right now that we did feel we should tell you about. So on Monday of this week, we received from a source a collection of confidential documents related to the Biden family. We believe those documents are authentic, they're real, and they're damning. At the time we received them, my executive producer, Justin Wells, and I were in Los Angeles preparing to interview Tony Bobolinsky about the Biden's business dealings in China, Ukraine, and other countries. So we texted a producer in New York, and we asked him to send those documents to us in LA, and he did that. So Monday afternoon of this week, he shipped those documents overnight to California with a large national carrier, a brand name company that we've used, you've used countless times with never a single problem. But the Biden documents never arrived in Los Angeles.
So California passed the bill SB 145, right, to legalize pedophilia. And Snoops and Reuters and Political Fact, all run by the left side, liberal websites, fake news, saying, "Oh, it does not protect pedophiles, does not legalize pedophilia." Yeah, bullshit. Go read the bill. It protects pedophiles and legalizes pedophiles.
Officials as well as U.S. ambassadors have stated publicly that they think the recent stories about Hunter Biden and his emails are the products of Russian disinformation. However, the DNI, FBI, and DOJ have all said they have not seen intelligence stating that that's the case. Does the State Department concur with their assessment?
You know, when I was a CI director, I always preferred that people defer to the intelligence community about matters best known to them. I saw DNI Ratcliffe's statement. I have every reason to believe he's got it exactly right.
Thanks. Will?
For Hillary Clinton's emails, and we were just wondering what are those emails that you're looking for, who is releasing them, and when they'll be released. You said before it would be before the election.
What I said is we'd continue to do the work that we have done for an awfully long time, and we'll produce them when they are prepared to be produced. I've been, that's the 17th time I've been asked this question. I'm going to give you the same answer I gave the previous 16.
Michelle.
Happy to take the 18th if you
Just came out on Biden, but I won't tell you about that. You'll find that out tomorrow. Oh, look at you. Man, that's something. Biden has pledged the biggest tax hike in the history of our country. First man that I've ever seen campaign on the fact, I'm going to raise your taxes. What's going on?
Ask God to give you wisdom as who you should vote for. You see, there are two different visions for the future of our country, two opposite visions. So pray that God would give you the right choice.